10 seconds remaining.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 2014 National Electronic Sports Tournament here, the grand finals between LGD Gaming and LV Gaming here, a best-of-3 series. We've made it through. Finally, the Shanghai LAN finals will come to an end. We'll find a victor today between these two teams. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Maut, and as always, today joining me is F4L. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. We made it through it.
Excellent.
We're here. I'm very excited to be casting this game and to finish off the NEST 2014 championship because we had a couple of long nights, man. We've been here for a while.
Should be a good one. I would say LGD definitely favored up in this matchup. Beating both Newbie and... who did they play in the first round?
Speed.
Speed. Okay.
That's right.
To get to this place.
So
bit of an interesting start here with the bands coming out. And LGD Gaming, and we've talked about this before, LV Gaming kind of have a bit of a rivalry here. They have DDC and Lin, who formerly played up against, or played for, rather, LGD in, back in TI4. So maybe a bit of a rivalry. We talked about, you talked about going through Speed and going through Newbie. Newbie, in turn, beat Vici Gaming. So on the side of the bracket where you had LGD, Speed, Vici, and Newbie, no one really expected LGD to get through. But they have done that, and that's really been on the back of really good play from all of their players, I'd say. In July, I think, has impressed me the most, though.
In July, pretty much sealed the game in Game 3 against Newbie with his really impressive Doom play. And I would say also MMY, a standout player. I think it's sort of expected from him at this point. I mean, he always performs really well.
5 seconds remaining.
And LV Gaming are going to go ahead and first pick the Ancient Apparition, going to get their hands on probably the most contested support in China. And LGD are going to follow that up with a first pick Brewmaster. And most likely we'll see that with another support. Maybe I believe the last time they did this, they picked a Rubik with the Brewmaster. So.
I'm completely fine with that. They won't give the Rubik away to LV Gaming, and MMY played a fairly stellar Rubik. We talked about his Blink Stomps in the first game. I think it was against Speed, maybe? I think it was against Speed, and he played phenomenally, so we'll have to wait and see, though. They have a lot of choices. There's no Ancient, or there's no, Skywrath Mage. And they banned out a couple of other heroes as well. Death Prophet Doom banned out, Bristleback as well, which is interesting. LGD banned out the Bristleback. They know what ZYF can do with that hero. ZYF has put so much pressure on these teams that he's almost made some really big comebacks with Bristleback alone. So it seems to be a Chinese standard.
Yep. Yeah, ZYF definitely putting on a clinic with whenever he gets his Bristleback hero. And I think the hero got a significant buff with the addition of the Crimson Guard. The item just synergizes really well with what Bristleback wants to accomplish. And
It's unkillable with that Crimson Guard.
So LGD are going to go ahead and pick the exact same draft with the Brewmaster and the Rubik first pick. And it will be interesting to see what LV decide to pick. This might make them change their picks just a little bit so that they don't pick anything that is too good if it gets stolen. Probably won't. Maybe it'll deter them from picking like a Tide Hunter or something of that sort. So
well, the thing is also, you remember that game I was talking about with Rubik and Brewmaster. MMY stole a stomp from the Centaur almost every time. You talk about how Centaur's a really good counter to Brewmaster, but if you're stealing stomp and if you're getting 3-man stomps like MMY was getting on his Rubik in the other game, I think that's pretty disastrous. So LV Gaming, maybe they don't go for the Centaur here, although it would be a nice pick in the off lane.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that Rubik's really a Centaur counter, and it looks like they're going to go with the Bat Rider.
No, certainly not a counter, but he works well against him.
Yeah,
occasionally.
He does. Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the game because, I mean, sometimes Rubik gets a really fast blink like MMY got in that particular game. Sometimes, it takes a really long time to get the blink, and then it's really not that effective. And then, looks like LV Gaming are going to go ahead and ban the Centaur out themselves and don't want to give that hero over to LGD. And the Lycan ban as well. So, banning... I like the Lycan ban. I think LGD showed really good execution yesterday when they had the Lycan up on Sylar. And, yeah.
One more ban to come out from LGD Gaming as well. Sylar was able to take control of that game one, and he didn't let go. Even though Hao farmed as well as any 8 mage you'll see especially in the Chinese scene. I mean, it was just
Reserve
impressive to
time.
see how play that well on an anti-mage and still somehow find a way to lose. Again, his team really didn't help him out. Rabbit had some misplays.
LGD
That was actually the game, I
Gaming's
think. That was the
turn
game
to
where
pick.
MMY had stomped. It was against Snoopy,
Yep.
where he played.
He put
Rubik.
him on the cliff twice.
That's
in
right.
the
It was
game.
the Cliff game. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I was very surprised.
That was something else. And looks like they're going to go ahead and ban out the Wisp and the Slurk. Slurk, just an overall, the hero's just really obnoxious, and if you don't
10
have
seconds remaining.
some good AoE disables, I think the hero can just sort of run amok
5
and do
seconds
whatever he
remaining.
wants. And since Rubik and Brewmaster mostly have single target disables, they're just going to go ahead and ban
Reserve
out the
time.
Slurk so that they aren't forced into picking something maybe that they don't want to in order to counter it. And I mean, Slurk would be a good pick for on the side of LV Gaming, so they're going to go ahead and ban that out. I think LGD, is there other support? They could go maybe with a Zeus. I know in the previous game that they had a Rubik. I believe they went with a... Was that the...
I don't know if it was the Rubik game. I think it might have been in the
We didn't
speed.
see any Zeus from Faith yesterday.
No, not yesterday, no. But
LGD
in the
Gaming's
previous day
turn
where they
to
played
pick.
against Speed, he definitely picked up the Zeus. I don't remember who the other support was. I want to say it was something standard. No, maybe it was Tusk from MMY, yeah.
It was Tusker.
Yeah, maybe they do pick up Tusk MMY again. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It's not banned out. They have the Rubik, which I'm sure Faith can play. So they have a couple of options. Nature's Prophet's picked up for LGD as well. We'll see where they lane that. And then the Ember Spirit coming up from LV Gaming. And I think this has been the hero of the tournament. This has been the hero that's been played most throughout the entire tournament from pretty much every team.
5 seconds remaining.
And I believe they play it pretty well. So
I don't think...
Oh, Dusa for
Dusa.
Siler. That's frightening.
And we saw Newbie banning this hero every game except for in game 3.
Yeah.
So I wonder if LGD, maybe they've been showing off their Medusa and Scrims. I'm not sure that they've played it in any official matches. Maybe they have. I haven't watched
Not that
every
I've seen.
Chinese game.
Yeah. I
But-
think it's a fine pick.
Yeah, the hero is definitely quite
10
strong.
seconds
And
remaining.
honestly, it's very good against Ember because the Sleight of
5
Fist
seconds
Chains
remaining.
combo is really not going to have much effect on Medusa once she gets, her items going in the mana shield is activated.
That level 4 mana shield makes her just almost impossible to kill, which I think is one of the reasons
10
they pick an
seconds
Invoker.
remaining.
Now, with an Invoker, do you see Quas Wex here because of EMP, or is it your
5
normal Quas
seconds
Exhort?
remaining.
Because I guess you could still build into the Necrobook, and that does
They're
provide
going to
you
go
mana burn.
Quas Wex, I think.
Okay.
Although they could go Exort, Quas. I just feel like... I actually don't think that Invoker is that good against Medusa, personally.
LGD
Because
Gaming's
I feel like if
turn
you're
to
going to go
pick.
ahead and counter out the Medusa, I think Nyx is probably the best hero to do it.
Right.
Nyx just removes about 25 to 30% of Medusa's effective HP with every mana burn cast. So anytime you can get the Nyx up against the Medusa, I think it is the best hero to
It's a
have.
4-second cooldown also at its max
Yeah.
level, which is just ridiculous.
10
Even if you pop it with the Lincoln
seconds
Sphere, it doesn't matter. She's just going to use it again, and then Medusa's going to be like, well,
5 seconds
I'm not as
remaining.
tanky as I want to be right now. Somebody help me. I don't want to die. And they actually pick it up for themselves. LGD Gaming.
It's a deny pick.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the LV certainly could have picked it and fit it into their lineup, but they're not going to give it away. And I actually like this because, I mean, Nyx Assassin in his own right is still a decent offlaner. You don't have to play up against a Medusa for him to be effective, especially when you're going up against an Invoker or even a Batrider or an Ancient Apparition.
Now, if he does go with the Quas Wex Invoker, it will be extremely effective against Medusa in the early to mid game, but I would say at
10
about
seconds
30
remaining.
minutes it starts really losing its effectiveness because it's only going to burn 400 mana, and once the Medusa gets a, maybe a Manta style and a Scotty, or even the Lincoln Scotty, it's just going to be too much mana for the EMP to burn through.
Well, we'll have to wait and see how the Invoker does play up in this mid lane. They're going to grab their last pick as well, which is more than likely their second support, unless they want to go for a poor position Batrider, which we saw earlier on in this tournament. Not so much success there, but Reserve time now
Yeah.
dwindling down here. Of course, LV Gaming, I mean, they've gone through a pretty tough road themselves, but again, all the tough teams were really on the opposite side of the bracket with LGD, Speed, Newbie, and Vici Gaming. Their first true test is going to be this game right now, although Tong Fu, it did go through 3 games for them, so they had to get through some adversity to get here. We'll have to wait and see what their last pickup is. Again, with the Ancient Apparition, maybe a hero with some sort of lockdown, with some disable. It's going to be the Jakiro, though, coming out for LV Gaming, and more than likely a support Jakiro at that.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what it looks like, as Whisper is their offlane player. So we're going to have ZYF on the Ember Spirit. Looks like it's going to be in the safe lane. That's where he played it the last time that LV decided to run this hero. So we're going to have a support Jakiro, Ancient Apparition, 2 very strong supports, but they won't really have any ability to make plays around the map. You know, Ancient Apparition, when paired with someone with a stun or a disable, as well as the Chilling Touch, can roam and gank effectively, because they'll just have so much damage. But with a Jakiro, you don't really have that option. So if the laning phase doesn't go in LV Gaming's favor, they might have a bit of issue, you know, bringing it back with these supports. So they're really going to have to look for strong performances in these lanes.
Prepare
I mean, they're not going to be able to, and I think that's a problem. If you want to shut down Sylar, your best chance is to do it early. Once he gets a couple of levels, once he gets his Lincoln Sphere, he's going to be very tough to gank. So for LGD, it's just the old game plan for them. I mean, they've done this so often. Pick up, obviously, Sylar on a farming hero, and then just go to work. Have some early game aggression, maybe a 4-protect-1 style of lineup, especially with the Brewmaster coming out now. And I think they could do very well for themselves. And they actually will have in July in the offlane coming out. And the Nature's Prophet will be down there. For LGD squad, the rest of them, we're going to have mid lane. It's going to be the Brewmaster played by Yao. Some supports coming out. MMY, Momo Yan going to be on the Rubik. Faith going to be on the Mixed Assassin. And in the top lane, it is going to be safe lane Sylar farming away on the Medusa to round out LGD's lineup.
And then on the side of LV, we're going to have Whisper in the top lane playing the offlane Batrider. In the mid lane, we're going to have Inflame. It looks like he's going to be playing a Quas Wex Invoker. In the bot lane, we're going to have ZYF playing the Ember Spirit, Demons on the support Ancient Apparition, and DDC on the Jakiro. And I just want to say, yesterday, DDC put up one of the most impressive support Jakiro performances that I've probably ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, usually this hero,
The battle
I would say,
begins.
it's not that it doesn't have a lot of impact, it just... It doesn't have a lot of like fighting impact, I would say, before it gets the Yules. But I mean, his Ice Path and Macropyres were just on point that game. And
He did so much damage. He was getting kills left and right with the
was
Magnifier.
crazy.
I feel like they maybe had the Faces Void in that game, but that's still before they even had Chronosphere, he was making plays. So for LV, it's going to really come down to how good of a start DDC and Demons can have. Again, they won't be able to rotate. Yao's probably going to have a pretty good time mid lane. He already gets up the Drunken Haze early against Inflame. Wants to make sure he's out CSing him mid lane. Top lane, meanwhile, Firefly goes. Telekinesis onto Whisper. He's going to get impaled as well. And first blood should go to MMY here. No, the right click. Sylar does get it. Great early start for Sylar, picking up a kill already on Whisper. And boy, they better start stacking that jungle because this guy is going to have a rough time.
Yeah. And really big kills coming out for the side of LGD, especially to get it onto Sylar. I wouldn't actually say that they have the most kill potential in this lane, but it looked like Whisper playing a bit too aggressive and was just caught out there.
I mean, they could certainly kill and harass in July in the bottom lane. The offlaners aren't going to have an easy time, but it just feels like already he just played a bit too far up, like you mentioned. They grab a kill on him, and he's going to have to sit back now. Firefly is up, but...
In the mid lane, we have Yao. It looks like he's going to go for the Drunken Haze build. So try to deny Inflame of a lot of CS, but he's already up to 6-2 against the 3-3 of the Panda, so doing a really good job on, I would say, a hero that generally struggles with CS in the early game, especially when going for this Quas Wex build.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't even have the Exhort to give him the bonus damage, but he's still doing a great job right now. Wex will give him some attack speed. And this could be a microcosm of the game, whoever wins this matchup mid. And yeah, I was just missing a couple of the CS right now, so a bit unfortunate for him. He's not even at his bottle yet. He's trying to get it early. DDC picks up the bounty rune down in the bottom lane. Top lane, it's going to be MMY picking up the double damage. And they don't have a Radiant Observer ward. Actually, I believe they did spot it out. Yeah, they do have one, but Whisper is very far up. He will just walk away from MMY, who's looking for a telekinesis. And
Looks like they're going to make it go on in July in the bottom lane.
Ice Path, Cold Feet going the right click from ZY. That'll secure the kill. He is going to take tower aggro. They're going to try to get the aggro off, and he takes a couple of extra tower hits that he doesn't need to take, but he does have the salve. So, not the biggest problem in the world. And an offlaner in both sides, they die first.
Yeah, looks like ZYF went for the Searing Chains Sleight of Fist at level 2. So he was able to just get a nice Sleight of Fist into Searing Chains combo. Maybe a bit unexpected from In July, as this build is not very common anymore. Usually we see people getting a couple points in Flame Guard and Searing Chains before they opt to get any points in Sleight of Fist.
Now that's been the nature of the Ember Spirits this game. Meanwhile, there is going to be the EMP. Yao's going to lose all of his mana, but he does get his clap off beforehand, and his bottle's flying out as well. So it could be worse, but maybe not, as he's losing CS. I mean, it's 10 to 11, so he has caught up, and in Flame now. Yeah, we'll have some decent base damage here to work with, so it gets tougher, I think. Even as the Invoker does level up, he's not got the Exort levels to work with there to get the extra damage. Whisper in the top lane, MMY is going to come in. There's the Telekinesis, the Impale as well. They're going to TP in July, the Mana Burn. There's the Fade Bolt, the right-click. Sylar gets the kill with the Mystic Snake, and 2 kills already.
Yeah, and it looks like they'll be able to just transfer into a top lane push with the TP of In July. They have the Siege Wave, they have 2 range creeps.
Whisper's got to be careful. He doesn't have Firefly anymore. He does have boots, though.
That is really fortunate for Whisper. Although it looks like he might get caught out again.
Impale. Yeah, he's going to die a 3rd time in this top lane. He TP's right in to his death in July. He says, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm just going to kill. I mean, at this point, you're feeding, man.
I'm not sure how he's allowing MMY to just run up and telekinesis him. I mean, they have the same movement speed at 340, so maybe just not on the top of his game tonight. I was going to say it was fortunate on the side of Whisper, because when he TP'd back in, if you notice, there was Firefly still on the ground here, and it actually dragged the creep wave all the way down here, so it didn't look like LGD were going to be able to push the tower, but since Whisper died, now they're able to get the tower.
Yeah,
and
Sylar picks it up as well. His treads are done at 4 minutes, and he's got 900 gold on top of it. And they're going to try to defend bottom as well. ZYF DDC going to work. Nature's Prophet comes in. Faith might look for an Impale. Ice Vortex on the ground. Tower already has been glyphed. ZYF gets Mana Burn, and they will take the tower. Looks at the tree. Has tried to deny it in July. Beautifully done. Nature's Prophet takes it right away from him. No, sir. No tower for you.
I mean, Sylar having an excellent time in the early game on this Medusa. 2 kills, 30 CS, and the tower last hit. I mean, this is pretty much a picture-perfect early game for him.
Yeah, I mean, if they put some pressure on him, maybe he starts losing a bit of that perfect game that he's got. But as of right now, he's getting everything he could possibly ask for. Short
yeah,
of,
looks like we're going to see a Lincoln Sphere, first item. So deviating a bit from, I would say, the popularized build in the West, which is the Yasha into Scotty. And I think it's good this game. I think the Lincoln Sphere will be good against the Bat Rider. You know, you can force him to use...
No.
And I just completely missed a kill on the mid lane.
It happens. He's dead. They used I think the Tornado, and followed up by the EMP with Cold Snap as well. And they had Demons there as well to secure the kill. So Brewmaster goes down. We haven't really talked about him, but not having a great time. But
anyways, I was going to say the Lincolns will be good this game against the Bat Rider. You know, you can force them to use the Force Staff on you before lassoing you. And they don't have many things that break the Lincolns. You know, some Invoker's Cold Snap, as well as the Cold Feet coming out from Ancient Apparition. But that's about it. So
I want to ask you, do you think this Ember Spirit's going to get involved early on in this game, now that he already has his phase boots? Is he going to start ganking? I feel like that's part of the really good part of this hero.
Yeah, I mean, Embers typically try to get involved as soon as possible, just because the hero is so good early game. Once you get 3 points in the Flame Guard, you basically have a 50 damage Ion Shell that also soaks up a bunch of magic damage, so you're really good at fighting early.
So I think he will get involved soon. He might get Drum first. He already has his stick done. Phase boots, like we talked about. No poor mid shield. They're really trying to secure Yao farm. They actually smoked up. They went behind the tower. They sat really just right about here in this mid lane. They couldn't find anything. They back away. Faith heads up to the top lane. He's level 4. They want to get him Vendetta as soon as possible. He's level 4 with that. That means actually that both of the supports from LGD are having an okay time. Level 5 for the Ancient Apparition, only level 3 for DDC, however. So they will have to try to get DDC some semblance of farm. Yeah.
I would say it's definitely important for the Ancient Apparition to get up his level 6 as soon as possible. That's pretty much how it works in every game. The sooner you can get the level 6 on AA, the sooner you can set up kills for your team around the map with the Ice Blast, and it adds a lot of damage coming into these ganks.
I mean, that's I think also the go time is that you can start getting solo kills with maybe just ZYF just jumping in, searing chains, flame guard, and then they hit the AA ult, and all of a sudden somebody's dead. So
Yeah.
I think for LGD they have to be wary of that.
Inflame doing a really good job in this mid lane. He's up to 38 CS with 17 denies against the 27 and 12 of Panda. In a matchup that I would say is probably Panda favored. So, very well played by Inflame.
And especially with no exhort, I'd say definitely. Now he's going to get Tornado EMP'd as well. He cannot get his split off. Luckily, he does have the regen rune. But look at the Ice Vortex, the Chilling Touch as well. The Cold Feet, they will grab the kill. The last proc coming out from Inflame. He plays that beautifully. And if there's one problem for LGD, it's that Yao is having just such a rough time right now. I mean, they're getting plenty of farm on both In July as well as Sylar in the top lane, and they just can't get anything done with this Brewmaster.
Oh, and this Questworks Invoker is just doing absolute work on the Panda right now.
Goodbye, MMY, and that bottom lane ZUF gets a solo kill. So, Inflame's also going for an Orchid, by the way. How do you feel about this build for the Invoker pickup?
I think if you're going Quaswex, this is the build. You either go an Orchid Rush or you go Force Staff, maybe, or Drums into Orchid, but either way, I think Orchid is probably the best item on this hero. It will also be quite good since Sylar is going for a Lincoln Sphere, so you can Orchid to pop the Lincolns and then Cold Snap him. So that will also be nice.
Yeah. So Sylar will take mid lane farm while this is all happening, and Inflame is building towards the Orchid. He's got the one Oblivion staff done, so that early gets that's huge.
Sylar can die really easily in this mid lane, actually.
He does have level 3 mana shield, but he's actually out of mana. Yeah, he's maybe in some trouble, although Inflame is going to back away. He's not going for this kill. He's just going to farm the jungle. Speaking of the jungle, how's the Bat Rider doing? 1,500 gold, so Whispers, he's getting there, man. LV Gaming, they're still in it here in game number 1, and they have some time to work with until Sylar can really get farmed. And they might have to try to shut him down soon, but again, you talked about that timing with the Invoker. Once you get your levels up on Quaswex, and when you get the Oblivion Staff, or the Orchid rather, as well, then it gets really difficult for Sylar if he gets caught out of position, and he might get caught out here.
Really good comeback from Whisper. I mean, he was having a really tough time. I mean, he died 3 times in the top lane, but he's making his comeback. He's probably going to have his Blink Dagger at about 12 to 13 minutes, which, isn't the best timing, but it's probably okay considering the state of the game.
He died 3 times.
Yeah.
He's okay with it. I mean, he has 2,000 gold now in the bank. That's about as good as it's going to get in this game for Whisper. So, and they don't have that same real comeback mechanic. I guess you can farm the jungle for In July, but you're really not looking for an item like that. You're looking for your Orchid, as you see him building the Robe of the Magi and the Quarterstaff. Sylar is sitting so far back. He's at the tier 2 tower. They might jump on him. ZYF is here. The smoke will break as well. They rotate through. MMY's here to help out. They just rotate through the lane, and now they're going to put pressure on the tier 1 tower. Glyph is going to get popped. They'll throw a Remnant down so ZYF can be aggressive, and he has the double damage rune. I think they probably just take this tower. I don't think LGD want to fight this yet.
And I think LGD are going to struggle to find engagements before Yao's Blink Dagger. So he's about 400 gold away. And I think if LV make a play maybe into the top lane, they can secure themselves another tier 1 tower with no contest.
Especially now with the Blink coming out. Blink Lasso is actually just going to be devastating. We'll see if Whisper gets involved, maybe picks up his smoke, and yeah, there it is. It's just the timing, man. Every time. Blink Dagger's done, better buy a smoke, better get some kills. And it's so beautiful to see as well, especially if he was that far behind with 3 deaths. So we'll see how LV perform here in the next couple of minutes. They are going to head to the top lane, it looks like, or at least just have ZYF farming up there.
Yep. And let's see where the first gank is going to come from the side of Whisper. They might smoke up the Bat Rider, Invoker, and the Ancient Apparition. Looks like they're going to do so. And MMY is just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Tornado, EMP, Cold Feet, and they just kill him rather easily. That's just rather unfortunate. That poor Rubik's just like, I'm just farming or stacking some angels, guys. Don't mind me. And then, well, so much for that. Yeah, we'll pick up a Blink Dagger. That's actually not too bad considering how rough of a start he had in the middle lane, but they've got to get something done with the split as well, so.
Yeah, I mean, Yao really unable to find any momentum in this game. He hasn't been able to use his split for anything. It looks like Fate's going to scout out the heroes on the side of LV with his Vendetta.
Impale is going to connect. The Ice Blast is going to come in. There's the split. Inflame in trouble. Will fall. There's going to be the Nature's Wrath as well. Faith cold feed it up. He might even just go down here and will. Sleight of Fist now. The Flame Guard coming in. ZYF going to get out. There's the Searing Chains from MMY. The Triple Remnant MMY is blown up. And Whisper pops the last for it as well. In July, now they're going to try to get out here. They're looking for ZYF. They're going to try to find him. But look at the damage on In July. LGD are in some trouble, but there's going to be the Stone Gaze. They use the Mystic Snake as well. Whisper, one right click. He will get the job done. In the end, it's going to be a 3-for-2 exchange. Oh, that could have been a lot better for LGD. And LV coming in at ZYF. The Ember Spirit, how often have we seen it this tournament?
Yep. And I think that was really good for LV because DDC during that entire engagement was just farming in the bottom lane. He's up to 1,600 gold, and I think he was pretty he was struggling in the early game. You know, he was level 3 at about, I think it was about 8 minutes, and it looks like they're going to go for a kill onto Faith.
He's actually just going to fall. I mean, this Inflame is getting involved so much. He does steal EMP. Now another, well, it looks like he will get caught out. He's going to try to maybe get up to his Ghost.
Oh, he's going to kill MMY.
MMY is getting low. One right click will do the job, and he does go down. They do get the return kill for In July, but again, it's a 2-for-1 exchange. They don't chase after DDC, as nearby Whisper is here, although he didn't have Lasso up. He is going to Firefly. In July backs away. So, and look at the build from In July as well. He is going for no Null Talismans. He's just going straight for the Orchid. I guess that's okay, but it's not something you see too often anymore.
I actually haven't. I don't think I've ever seen a Chinese team go with the Null Talisman into Blade Mail Furion build before.
I've seen the Null Talismans. It was a couple days ago. I forget which team ran it.
Was it?
Yeah,
okay.
I just don't. They didn't have the Blade Mail, but they certainly did
Maybe
have Null Talismans. Okay. But DDC, Vendetta's going to go and bail as well, and they might grab the kill here, in fact. They will. I don't think he actually bought his Oblivion Staff, or rather his Staff of Wizardry. I'm not sure if he bought anything else. He actually got the Void Stone as well, so he's getting close. He's getting close to that Yule Scepter.
Getting really farmed, and he's going to have his Yules at a very good timing for support Chikiro.
Yeah, he's having a heck of a game, as he always does when he's on that Chikiro. He's just like, man, I love THD. Nothing like shooting fire out. Siler's going to get Tornado EMP'd as well. He's going to ult up, and that might keep him alive. He is going to get Ice Blasted. I don't see them killing him here. They're going to blink up Whisper. Might get Stone Gaze? No, doesn't. There's the Flame Break back. He does have the last. Sylar's dead as well now, it looks like, as the Mana Shield is gone. They're going to TP in the Clap as well. Yao coming in. He does have Split. Whisper should fall for this, but they've already accomplished their mission. They've stopped Sylar from farming. The Cold Feet Impale, whiffed by Faith. He will use his Spike Carapace. He doesn't actually get the Cold Feet last, but it doesn't matter. Searing Chain's going, and LV are taking it. Every single trade in their favor. LGD have not gotten to favorable trades since the beginning of this game.
Yeah, OGD are trying to be, on top of their rotations. Every time Sylar gets ganked, they try to rotate a bunch of heroes in and try to get counter kills. But LV just bringing just as many heroes. It looked like maybe there was only 2 heroes, but then from the side comes the Ancient Apparition and the Ember Spirit, and they were definitely prepared for TPs incoming.
Under attack.
I gotta say, this Ember Spirit is really becoming an issue, and I feel like that's really the trump card for LV, is that this Ember Spirit continues to do work. I would not be surprised to see a Respect Ban come out next game for this hero, just because of how much he's been played in this tournament.
I mean, certainly in the late game, I think Medusa will do just fine against the Ember, but it's just about LGD getting to that point.
Yeah. And right now they're having some trouble. They can't even kill Inflame with Injuly coming with the Orchid. Yao has a Haste Rune. I mean, he could try to chase Inflame down. He doesn't have Ghost Walk, but he can invoke it up. That's the benefit of having Quas Wex, and boom, there it goes. They won't be able to kill him. In fact, that's very, very safe for Inflame. There's nobody even nearby, but I understand what he's going for. Faith is looking for DDC. He might find him. Maybe they want ZYF. Impale's about to go. There's the Clap, the Remnant away. The Impale! He can't get it off. ZYF in trouble. Oh, the Orchid coming in, but he still should survive. No! The Soulburn will take him down. The right click from In July. The split as well. DDC getting caught out. He put down the Macro Pyre. There's fire all over the damn place, but it doesn't matter. DDC still should take a spill here. The Boulder Toss. They're not using it. The Immolation coming in from the Panda. They cannot kill DDC. The buyback in from the Ember Spirit. And now Yao, he's going to have to try to survive. And he gets cold snapped immediately. Beautifully done from Inflame. Yao gets orchided. He's in trouble. He will not survive this. Clap's going to go through. No, he can't even get it off. God. LGD, man. They're in a rough spot.
LV are playing this really well. And it looks like Sylar might even get caught out. He does finish the Lincoln Sphere, so they're going to have to use some spell to break it. But if they can catch him out, that'd be a really big kill.
And that's an oh no, that's Ghost Walk, never mind. I thought that was an Invis Rune. So
Tower
Sylar will be
is
alerted
under
to his
attack.
presence if he
Oh
walks
my,
too close.
Sylar's going to die.
Ice Blast, Orchid comes in. Mana Shield is helping him out. He's tanking a lot of the damage, but he's got no help coming in. His ultimate is available. He actually might just live. He's going to back away. ZOIF does get a kill down bottom on Ember Spirit. TP coming in from in July. They want to fight this. There's the Orchid on Inflame. He's in trouble. They will telekinesis him up. He's got an Ice Wall, but that will not keep him alive. Hey, man. He thought he's dead, but Sylar is so damn tanky. Jeez.
I think if Inflame casted his spells differently, they might have been able to kill Medusa. I think he should have used the Orchids to break the Lincolns, and then use the Cold Snap, and then invoke EMP to burn all of his mana. And then with combining that with the lasso, I think they might have been able to kill him because the Medusa ult wouldn't have been able to come out.
I mean, he wouldn't have had any mana at that point. Instead, they kind of wasted time there with the Orchid, and they thought the Orchid was going to do more damage than it did. Orchid did nothing. That's level 4 mana shield coming up for Sylar
Dire's
with the
bottom
Lincoln
tower
Sphere.
is under attack.
He's good to go, I think. Unless they can really focus on killing him with a couple of heroes, more so than they had, I don't know if they're going to bring him down. But they will pick up the Battle Fury from the Ember Spirit at 18 minutes in, and he had Phase Drum as well. ZYF. That's a ridiculously farmed Ember Spirit. 524 GPM. Pretty good start for ZYF.
Yeah, ZYF definitely having a really good game. Sitting at 132 CS, top of the charts, as well as 4 kills for him. So he's having a fantastic game for himself. And if we compare him to Sylar, Sylar's got his, what did he purchase up? Probably a Blade. Yep, Blade of Alacrity. So it looks like he's going to be going into the Manta after the Lincoln Sphere. Pretty much the classic Medusa build. There's been sort of a lot of different builds coming out recently, but this is pretty much the classic build coming out for Medusa. He's probably going to go into the Scotty after the Lincolns and the Manta, so...
What's been more popular recently, the Treads or the Phase Boots? That's something I've been wondering since the beginning of the game.
I don't think that most teams... like, Phase aren't terrible. It's just not as efficient as Treads, because once you get the Treads up, you can use the Snake on Intelligence Treads, and then Tread switch, and then since it gives you mana back, you can just spam Infinite Snakes with the Treads.
Good usage of your tread swapping there, so... In July, he's down bottom. He's got an Ogre Club. This might be a BKB. He's got a TP back home. He's done okay. He's caught up fairly well. And this is the problem we saw from a couple of Nature's Prophets recently, is just kind of they stagnate their farm after they get their first or second item. They will grab a double damage rune for Yao. They've ended up for Faith. They actually spotted that out, I think, with this Radiant Observer Ward. And Sentry is going to be placed down for DDC. And Faith, if he goes there, he'll just die.
Yule's completed from DDC. And he's level 11. So he's having a great time this game.
Faith. Impale misses completely. Sentry Ward up.
Oh,
They're going to use up.
DDC might fall.
I think Faith is in some trouble. There's going to be a spike carapace. Last one in July. Ice Blast is going to blow 2 heroes up, it looks like, in July. The EMP as well. That was optimistic at best for LGD. I don't know about that gank. That's something that a bit questionable.
Maybe had they got the Impale on Inflame, they would have been able to... I mean, at best it would have been at 2 kills for Inflame. But... unable to connect on the Impale, and LV with great positioning. I mean, they're just always in the right place at the right time this game.
This LV's coming out party right now. They're playing so damn well that it looks like they might be able to just take this game. The only issue is, I think, the Medusa, and in July, maybe with some ganks. Yao hasn't really been a force at all. I mean, they've split, what, twice? And one of those splits actually caused him to die by diving too far past the Tier 1 tower. And on top of that, they can't get this mid-Tier 1, so they're struggling even with getting objectives. So
I mean, LV's players, they aren't really... They're no stranger to playing against these Tier 1 Chinese teams. I mean, there's a lot of experience coming out for the side of LV.
Absolutely.
I mean, DDC, probably one of the most, if not the most experienced players in China. I mean, he's played since the Dota 1 days, so...
That experience is going to help them as they try to take down this Tier 2 tower. Lasso up an MMY, the poor Rubik. Well, he's just been a feeding machine. Faith will go down as well, 2 killed. And they will grab the kill on the Tier 2 tower here as well, as DDC is going to put pressure on it. They're actually going to TP back home as Liao is pushing into the tower. Searing Chance actually doesn't go, and Liao will make it out alive. He can blink up if he needs to, but they do take down the Tier 2 tower down bottom.
Radiant's middle
And actually, it
tower
looks
is
like
under
we've seen
attack.
ZYF is going to go for Ayasha and probably the Manta style as well, but he does have the Battle Fury this time around, so.
Is this like some new Ember Spirit playstyle where you get a Yasha? I'm not.
Wasn't ZYF
I
the
mean,
one that
I've.
has done this so
Oh,
far?
it
though?
wasn't ZYF. No,
Wasn't?
it was the one on Tongfu.
Yes.
Or
Yes, you're right.
is it
You're right. You're
Tongfu?
right. You're right.
Yeah.
So it must be. Manta style seems to be the item now for Ember Spirits. I don't know. It's worked out. I mean, most of the games that they've picked that up, they've won the game with it. So
Yeah, but is it because they got the Manta style, or is it just? I'm not sure that the Manta style was the reason that they won, but
no, it could have been.
you know. So what
We don't
will
have the
Mantis?
statistics.
I mean, Mantis style will actually be quite good this game. He'll be able to take off the Orchid Silence, which is actually preventing him from being probably as aggressive as he wants to, and he's actually probably having to play a bit more careful because of it. So in this game, I actually don't mind the Manta as much as, like in the previous games that we saw it in this tournament, there wasn't really any particular reason to be buying it.
Well, in this game, it makes some sense. It does provide them some move speed, some extra damage. Salar's still farming up. They actually had a Ghost Walked in Flame nearby. He actually has a gem as well. So now the Vision's going to start becoming hotly contested, but I think it's going to go for LV as soon as they can find a way across the river. They really want to, I think, limit the jungle of Salar, because that's, I mean, if they could do that, then I think they've effectively almost won the game. They'll only be able to get farmed from just this, you know, the waves pushing into his base. So Salar he's almost got his Manta style. He's actually a recipe away, and he's not too far away from that. And then after that could be enough maybe for LGD. Maybe not.
Yeah, and honestly, the effectiveness of this Invoker is about to decrease significantly as Yao is going to pick up his BKB pretty soon. I mean, we see in July just picking up his BKB, and once this Medusa gets a significant mana pool, the EMP is really not going to be as effective as it was.
Manta's going to come out next, and then maybe a Scotty, I think, for the Medusa, and that
Yeah,
should give her
Scotty.
enough after that. Just to be able to just sit tank and have the mana pool that like you're talking about, even with the Manta style. She's got 1,000 mana, so she's in. Well, hold that thought. She's gonna get lasted up. Macropyre is on the ground. They actually just blow her up. That EMP came through, and then the damage from the Jakiro with the Macropyre plus all of the right click absolutely decimated
Dyer's
poor
middle tower
Sylar.
is under attack.
Sylar to fall indeed.
Well, we're still at the point in the game where the EMP just decimates Medusa, and until I would say she gets the Scotty, the EMP is going to continue to do work.
Dyer's middle tower has fallen.
They're maybe going to transition into Roche with this. No, they're going to back away. They have the damage. They have Orchids. They have the right click from ZYF. Although he's top lane with no remnants nearby that I could see. Angelai is split pushing bottom. The Orchid BKB build, not the most common, but certainly with an Nature's Prophet, you have just about any item at your disposal really to work with. So not a big surprise that he goes for these two items here, specifically in this game. MMY, he's gotten level 6, but he hasn't really made the plays. He has stolen Lasso now, but he doesn't have a Blink Dagger. And again, this is the issue. If the Rubik players in the scene can't pick up an early Blink Dagger, then this hero loses its effectiveness by a pretty big margin. So
Yeah. MMY definitely having some struggles in this game. I mean, it's really hard to play against these heroes once you fall behind, especially heroes like Ember Spirit when you're on this Rubik, because he's so elusive. He's just going to be jumping all over the place. I mean, you can almost just die. I mean, you pretty much die in like 2 seconds after you get chains.
Sylar ulting there.
Sylar's forced to ult in the mid lane. He does pick up his Mantis style. But yeah, MMY definitely struggling, and it's really hard to play against these heroes, so once you start falling behind.
I want to ask you, do you think LV have enough of a lead to be able to take this game, even if they get the Scotty up for the Medusa? Like, say Sylar gets another item. Say that's a Scotty. What do you do in that situation?
I think LV... It's so hard, actually, to break the base on the side of LGD, though. And if we look at the gold, they're actually only 4,000, maybe almost 5,000 gold ahead, and more significantly, 7,500 experience. But I don't think the lead is actually large enough when playing against this Medusa once he gets the Scotty. And it looks like they're going to go for Roshan to increase their lead.
And you can always opt for the end-all, be-all Divine Rapier on the Medusa if you can get to that point. So that's really I mean, not that, you know, other heroes can't build that item, but Medusa's so effective with it. I mean, you could win a game just through a Divine Rapier. She's nowhere near that point right now, and I don't even know if she'll be able to pick that up if the game goes sour. So They will take Roshan down. It looks like ZYF will grab it. Alacrity onto him. And now he's going to have an Aegis to work with. And this might be the go time for LGD. I don't think they want to give any more farm away to Medusa. Again, they split push effectively, but
Faith and MMY are sitting over here. They might, yeah. Inflame might just die. Oh,
Sentry Ward. Telekinesis isn't there. They really need a blink dagger on either of these heroes. Does Faith
I think they were really hoping that he like walked by this area, but not gonna happen.
MMY has to TP away as the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast goes through. Yeah, we'll just back up slowly but surely. They can't even find a kill. I mean, that was almost a sure kill had they gotten the telekinesis off, but...
I mean, they were sitting there for a really long time as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of time wasted, too. So, now instead, they have to find farm. And it's not only the MMY without the Blink Dagger, but it's Faith as well. I mean, these are two heroes that really rely on mobility, and specifically a Blink. So,
and Whisper on the Batrider just finishes up his own BKB. So it looks like, I imagine they'll try to pressure the last remaining outer tower in the top lane, and then maybe look towards how are we going to break this base, and what items do we need, and when is the best time to break it. And I think they really need to try to find a window before the Medusa gets to Scotty, because I think she might just be too tanky after that.
I think we actually might see ZYF going for an Assault Cuirass in this game. We saw it from Ember Spirits recently in this tournament.
I think it's okay in this particular game.
Yeah, I mean, you know that Yao might pick one up. And it's
I don't know, I think he might just go Daedalus, though.
And that's probably enough damage. But again, you don't have the presence for building pushing, but at the same time, I think it's fine regardless. Daedalus is going to provide more than enough damage to bring down almost every hero with the exception of the Medusa with her mana pool. BKB lasso onto Faith. They will catch him out of position. BKB, they want to go into ZYF. Telekinesis is going to go. They already kill Faith. No split coming out from Yao. They did steal Searing Chains, but I don't think that's really going to do much here as Sylar has to back away. Searing Chains is going to go, and Sylar's actually had some trouble. Have to Manta out of it. Now the Ice Path comes in as well. They've got to ultimate, and they will. Now ZYF getting caught out. He Mantas as well. He's trying to get away. Flame Guard's still up. There's the Searing Chains and Sleight of Fist going. Doing some decent work. The Flame Break and Ice Path comes through as well. Inflame, Macro Pyre from DDC. And July is dead as hell, and Yao's going to fall as well. Another excellent fight from LV Gaming. And that's going to allow them to take this tower.
Yao actually not using split in that team fight.
Dire's top tower.
A bit odd.
He wasn't expecting it, I don't think.
Yeah, but I thought he would pop it way earlier, but...
Yeah.
And the Medusa ult forced out, so this might be go time to try to break the base. I mean, they were able to take a fight outside the base at the tier 2. I would say... I'm not sure that that's a fight LGD really wanted to take, just because, you know, they were looking for a pick-off, but... I really think they should just be defending this high ground.
Impaled Telekinesis on his UF, but there's the Deafening Blast, and that's all of their damage gone now. And poor MMY gets brought down again from Sleight of Fist. He also has a Chrysalis, by the way. So at some point, ZOF's going to be able to one-shot or even, you know, maybe two-shot with Sleight of Fist some of these heroes. They're going to take the tier 3 tower, and they might be able to take this Rax as well. And if they take this Rax, LGD are going to be a real tough spot. Sylar, Lincoln Sphere is popped. Whisper BKBs. He doesn't have any mana for his lasso. They will take the melee Rax. Now the split's going to come through. What can they get? Cyclone's up. They want to chase after Whisper. They have Boulder Toss. Now ZYF remedied back in and Pale onto DDC. He'll fall. Now they're going to go on ZYF. He will dodge it. Yes, the Sleight of Fist onto the Boulder Toss. What a player coming out. Dispel Magic is about to go. He is going to Sleight of Fist again. Vendetta. Impale is going to fly. No, the Orchid comes out on fade. It's only the Aegis. Sylar does pop his ultimate. And they're looking for something else. Whisper, he's silenced up as well. He's stoned for him, but ZYF, Remnant's up. He's going to go back to town and Sylar's dead for 66 seconds. He has buyback. Poor Yao's going to fall again. And LV Gaming are about to take game number 1 out for me. The favorites, LGD. Oh my goodness.
I think they've done it. I mean, they're going to get most likely the mid set of Rex here, and LGD actually playing a bit undisciplined. That's the word I'm looking for. I mean, I think they just took a bit too many fights before their strongest point, which I think is when the Medusa gets to Scotty, and maybe even a damage item on top of that. And I think before that, they should have just been looking to defend their high ground, and they took a couple of fights outside of the base, you know, and just even in that last fight, they just chased a bit too far and onto the Aegis Ember, and yeah,
that's it.
And that's going to be GG.
That was just a huge fight for LV, and they've won pretty much every fight since about 5 minutes in the game. They win yet another one. And LGG just couldn't get the farm they were looking for in Siler. And this is the problem I see with LGD all the time, is they try to pick these hard farming carries, and they can never get to that point. And that's when they lose the games. So now they're down 1-0 in a best-of-3 series. This is the grand finals. There's no best-of-5. They have no advantage from, like a winner's bracket. So LV Gaming, again, they are an underdog by 20-80 in terms of the statistics from Dota 2 Lounge. And they take the first game.
Well, they certainly show that they can play with LGD in these games, so really strong performance by them.
Absolutely incredible coming out from LV. ZYF with the Ember Spirit playing a heck of a game. We'll jump into a quick break, guys. Game number 2 is going to come shortly. Could be theoretically the last game of NEST 2014, the LAN Finals. Will LV take it, or LGD? Will they come back? We'll have to wait and see, guys. Stick around. We'll be back into game number 2 in just a second, guys.